Welcome to Spirit of Madikwe, Africa's Majesty. We're going to take you on a journey to a real safari.
If you are in South Africa and if you are interested in doing an interesting tour through the Kruger Park and all these interesting things that we discussed already in previous episodes, yes, please contact us. We are still in the making of some interesting and nice homepage, but for the time being, obviously, we do have already our Instagram account and Spirit of Madikwe, and same goes with the Facebook account. So if you're really interested to do that, just contact us through these accounts, and Arthur and I will be very happy to take you there. And maybe Arthur, I think you had a very brilliant idea on what we could show to the people. Yeah.
Yes. So we had this idea of the tour we would like to put together, which I think is, when we came up with the idea, we discussed a lot of things in a lot of places, and unfortunately, the thing is that if you go onto Google or whatever, you will find a lot of things that are well known, and it's always at the last of the 10,000 search results that the really interesting stuff pops up. I don't know. It's if I can use the example, I'm sure most of our listeners have heard of the panorama route.
I'm pretty sure
And
about that.
the panorama route we discussed in one of our episodes. It's fantastic, but at the end of the day, just on the other side of the gate of the Kruger National Park is the Genesis route.
Mhm.
And the Genesis route seems to be not very well known, but it is also a World Heritage Site. So the Genesis route is the Barberton geological formations. It's all about geology and rocks and the formation of the planet and so on. And it does contain some of the oldest forms of life on the planet in fossilized form.
But it was these algae that we talked about, no?
Yes, and the thing is, it's always heartbreaking for me that people that are interested in that drive right past it and they don't even know it's there. So what the suggested route we've come up with is from obviously arrive in Johannesburg, and then Johannesburg to a little town called Barberton. Now, another thing that I think we addressed in our program is, people tend to want to get onto safari as soon as possible. And I understand that. But, Matthias, a full day safari can be a taxing thing.
It is, challenging.
If you're tired after a long flight, you're really going to enjoy your holiday more if you take some rest.
Mm.
If there's some rest work into your program before you. I always make the joke and say African safari is the only holiday where you come to Africa for 2 weeks and then you need to take another week vacation to recover from your vacation.
But this is the funny thing that this is the whole spirit or the whole idea of Spirit of Madikwe in general, to really take your time, to experience African nature and African majesty, if you will. Because these 18 days and see 20 different sites, and then at the end, when you are at the departing airport, you get a medal because you did it. And then you are home, and then you start like, okay, what did I do? And you have to look through your camera in order to recognize what you actually did.
I want to share a quick story on that subject with you. So, Matthias, one of the things you probably noticed with me as a guide, you've been on a couple of safaris with me, is I don't carry a camera on safari.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm out with guests, I don't carry a camera. And the reason for that is twofold. Number one, I've noticed that if if I want to get a photograph, it's kind of a subconscious thing. You're sitting behind the steering wheel, you park in the place where you can get the shot you want.
Yes.
And you kind of forget about the people sitting behind you and next to you. And in reality, it's actually their safari. So I like to withdraw myself from the photography part of it to be able to and Matthias is famous for this, for the move a little forward, move a little back. Just get the guest into the perfect slot for that photograph they want. But besides that, the story I want to share with you guys is I did overland safaris for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2 years, I've basically been to most of the national parks in Southern Africa. And about 6 months after I finished that and started working in the Kruger Park full time, I actually went through all my photographs and I found the most beautiful photograph of a leopard.
Oh.
There's only one problem. I can't remember seeing the leopard.
Wow.
So I've got this fantastic photograph, but I've got no story behind it because I don't know where I took it. I don't know when I took it.
Mm.
And I don't know what the context is, what the leopard was doing, where we found it. And it kind of takes away from that. A picture says 1,000 words because I cannot for the life of me remember where I took that photograph. And the only reason why that happened to me is because I was too busy. You're so focused on getting the shot and focused on getting from species to species that you kind of forget to take in what's happening. So with that in mind, that is why we said our first night is stay over in Barberton. So on the first day, we drive from Johannesburg to Barberton and we have a relaxing evening and a relaxing dinner. And people get to bed early and get a good night's rest so that the adventure can start the next morning. From there, the next morning, it is the Genesis route and then traveling onwards to Malala, which is one of the southernmost gates of the Kruger National Park. Matthias, you can weigh in here about the accommodation in Malala. I think it's spectacular.
It's situated right at the Crocodile River. It's next to the gate, so we don't have to drive very long in order to get there. I think it's perfect, and you have a very, very nice deck to sit and have your sundowner. Because unfortunately, and that's one of the drawbacks, obviously, in Kruger Park when you do these tours, you have to be out of the park at sunset. It's just the way it is. I think there's a few possibilities to do night drives, right?
Yes, there is a possibility. There is a night drive departing from Crocodile Bridge Gate, which can be attended. That's not a problem. If people wish to do so, we can do that drive. Although that would be with one of the park guides on a SANParks vehicle, because no private vehicles goes into the park after dark.
Yeah. Well, but I think at that point in time, it's okay to drive in an open vehicle because it's not too hot anymore. The sun is not burning you anymore.
Yes. So one of the big things that we've changed with our approach is our main offering of we've got a couple of days in the Kruger National Park doing full day safaris. So basically, from the moment the gate opens, we have lunch in the park, and we come out either when everybody's too tired to carry on, or when the gate closes.
One or the other. Whatever happens first.
Those safaris we intend to do in a closed vehicle, and the reason why is because, quick fact, 2017, I was doing a full day drive on the 25th of December, and it was 52 degrees Celsius in the shade in Skukuza. And I can promise you that my guests only enjoyed the first 2 hours of the drive, and the rest of the time they were praying for it to end because they were busy cooking on the back of the open vehicle.
Yeah, you just don't want that, no.
So the other thing is, like we said in previous times, when it comes to sightings, we have to be patient. If you find, lions are a good example. They like to lie down, they sleep a lot, and you want to get that photo where he stands up or he stretches, or you want to see what they're up to. But in order to see that, you've got to spend some time with them, and to sit stationary in a place where there might be no shade for an hour or 2 hours observing animals, it's not always the most fun thing in the world. So in my experience, a lot of people miss out because after sitting there for 5 minutes and the sun starting to cooking, they're so desperate to get the vehicle moving to get some cool air flowing over them that you abandon the sighting at the end of the day. And
I
that's
think,
kind of a drawback.
yeah, and I think this is one of our ideas really. So we want to be there. We want to have an appropriate vehicle to enjoy the sightings.
Exactly.
We are not going to abandon any sightings just because it's time for lunch.
No. We don't. If we whether we have lunch at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, or maybe we have lunch at Bergendal on the way out. It all depends on how the sightings is going.
I think usually we would also have some lunch packs with us, so we are not starving.
Yeah, so I think what the discussion we had about breakfast and the breakfast packs,
yes,
helps a lot because that means you at least got something to snack on during the day in your lead up to lunch. And then we also have the panorama route on the itinerary.
yeah, so
And that's also an interesting day in itself, but that moves a little bit away from the nature thing.
Just going back, I think what we are thinking is like 3 full days in Kruger. I think that's what we have kind of in mind, right?
Yes, 3 full days. So in other words, it will be 1 day on the Genesis route. It will be 3 days in the Kruger National Park, 1 day on the Panorama route, and then a trip back to Johannesburg. But we also have to stress that that is our suggestion.
Yeah.
And that is how, with all my years' experience going to the park and all of those and all of those attractions, how I would suggest people divide their time. But if people want to go straight to the park, if they're not interested in the geology thing, well, guys, let us know. We will accommodate.
Yeah. No, I think the most important thing is people have interest. They have sometimes just limited time. Obviously, then they have seen other things already, or they are just coming from the panorama route, or they are already in Bombela or somewhere, and they just want to do this tour. Obviously, that can be accommodated. I think it's really a nice thing. So if you have no clue what you're doing, but you are in Johannesburg, so that would be, let's say, the best starting point. So you will see a lot of interesting things. You will see a lot of geology and history also of how the national park was founded, as we discussed in one of our episodes before.
And let's not forget the trip from Johannesburg to the Kruger National Park is also quite an interesting drive. Lots of interesting things along the way, historical things, a little bit of engineering nerdiness like the Kendall Power Station. There is also there is an Anglo-Boer War battlefield that we pass, and we actually drive through the battlefield on the way to Johannesburg. or on the way to the Kruger Park, which is the Battle of Bergendal. There's a lot of entertainment en route as well.
So, and I guess what you all can be sure about is that Arthur will always know stuff about things that we pass by.
Yeah, because Arthur is a nerd, that's why.
Well, yeah, that's why we love you, huh?
So I heard an interesting comment today on a TV series. One guy said that he prefers to be called a factoid buff and not a nerd because it reminds him of very bad days in high school. So yeah, I think I fall into that category.
Okay.
So you know, I've always, and Matthias, you know this, I've always made a joke and said I wanna write that book called Arthur's Encyclopedia of Useless Information.
Oh yeah.
So you know, I tend to have a lot of interests, and I like to keep it interesting while we're traveling.
And it totally is. So yeah, of all these drives that we had with Arthur in the past, I think there was not 1 minute that I was actually bored. Obviously, I mean, we were in national parks and reserves, so there's nothing to be bored about. But then again, we drove like an hour or so to get to a special place. And even my
Yeah,
wife, she was kind of in there, and she was all in the conversation by just listening. So like you guys.
well, the thing is, it's the thing is, I think we forget that Africa is the reality is, guys, Africa is hope, and not just for us that are lucky enough to live here, for the human race, Africa is hope.
Yeah.
This is where we come from. It's fantastic to take people around and show them the realities behind what you see on television. The thing is, but the big thing I want to stress is that we are also working on including a lot of other things on as time goes on. I mean, we've got so many interesting things in South Africa. We've got great plans. Now we must just get it off the ground and get it going.
Yeah. So, and I think this is a good starting point here, really, with this tour.
Look, the thing is, I always say, you know, everybody that's heard of South Africa has heard of the Kruger National Park.
Yeah.
And I really do believe that Kruger National Park is one of the last bastions of African wildlife. And it's definitely worth a visit. And I think it's always a good starting point if you are interested in exploring Africa. It's always a good starting point to see the one place that I can vouch for and say that except for the road we're driving on and the camp we're stopping at, everything is untouched. To see what Africa is intended to be. Yeah, like I say, the Kruger Park is always a good starting off point. I just want to stress again, guys, this is our offering and our suggestion based on a very long time doing this, and it's for me it's very exciting because I've always been kind of frustrated with the cookie cutter. And what I mean by the cookie cutter is if you go onto 20 traveling websites now, you will probably find that all 20 of them is offering you exactly the same safari. The accommodation might be a bit different, and you know, I think it's high time that we bring in the stuff that is important. The reality is, in order to experience the Kruger National Park, my argument is always this. So the size of the Kruger National Park is twice this, 2.5 times the size of Yellowstone National Park. It is roughly the same size as the country of Wales. You wouldn't go to Wales for one day.
No, even though it might be very boring there. Sorry to all those guys that live in Wales.
Yeah, no, we have to apologize to them. Although I can't say anything, I've never been there. So I'm not gonna put my foot into that one. You can take the flak on that one.
Okay, I'm taking that one. Yeah, sorry.
But the thing is, it's the size of a country, and we're dealing with nature. You can't expect to go in there for 5 hours and see everything you've dreamed of seeing. If you want to see the amazing stuff, you have to spend the time, and you have to put in the effort.
Well, I think what you guys just need to bring really is the time. The effort will be brought in by Arthur.
Yeah, that's it. And the other thing is, guys, a very important part of any safari is, it's an old cliche, but my philosophy is come as a guest, leave as a friend. I think people need to be in a space where they realize that we are the kind of people that if you've got any questions along the way, or if you've got an idea, or talk to us.
Yep.
I've had it so many times where I've taken people to the Kruger National Park, and they've the itinerary said 3 full days in the Kruger National Park. So nobody says anything, and then at the end of the day, you get a feedback that says, "Yeah, people would have liked a bit more quiet time." Guys, if I'm on a safari and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, people decide, you know what, we've seen some amazing stuff today. I would like to get back to the hotel to have a swim before sunset. Tell me, and it will happen. It's people need to be open and not fearful of it. It's not a. I think the biggest thing, Matthias, that we discussed is nothing is set in stone.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
So it's always grinded me working, and that's why I'm so excited about tackling this project, because it's always grinded me where people are so set on itineraries, and it's not supposed it's supposed to be a vacation. It's supposed to be fun.
And if you just feel urged to do whatever is on that itinerary, then it's no fun anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you get into a situation where you're like, okay, guys, we've now spent 5 minutes extra at this place, so now we need to rush to get to the next place because we need to get back on the schedule. Yeah, no, then somewhere along the line the wheels have come off the vacation. So what? We're gonna get back to the hotel at 5 o'clock instead of 4 o'clock. I don't care.
Yeah.
There are certain things that we cannot change, like gate opening and closing times. We have to respect that, and those are there for a very valid reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So certain things we have to expect, but whenever it's within our purview, we will definitely do our best to accommodate.
Absolutely. So again, I'll put the link to our Instagram and Facebook pages into the descriptions of this episode. So if you want to look it up, you can easily find them. And yeah, contact us through the messages. We'll let you know also when the website is online. Again, it's a work in progress. It took longer than expected, actually. But I want to make it good. And yeah, we would be really happy to welcome you, to accommodate you.
So I just want to add in there, this is going to sound very forward of me. I'm currently on a bit of a hiatus, so please keep me busy.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going out of my mind doing nothing.
No, absolutely, yeah. So in any case, so if you are planning on being in Johannesburg short notice, just let us know, and we can get you arranged something. Yeah. Arthur's there.
Definitely.
And things will change in a couple of weeks, but up until then,
I'm in Johannesburg at the moment, and so if anybody's here and would like to meet up, even if it's just for a conversation, or have got some questions, you're more than welcome to contact Matthias. We'll get in touch with you guys.
All right, you
Alrighty.
guys. Thank you for listening again, and yeah, looking forward to the next episode. Let us know again in the comments what else you're interested in. I think next time we might want to talk about animals a bit more again. That's at least what I have in mind, but I'm curious what you guys are interested in. Again, if you're in South Africa or Southern Africa, let us know, and we'll get you in touch with Arthur to get you around a bit.
Yeah, even if people just want information, it's not a problem.
All right, and obviously, do not forget to subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, please do that, guys. It really helps a lot.
It does. It certainly does. All right. Thank you all, and talk to you next time.
Fantastic, guys, and enjoy your morning or afternoon or evening whenever you happen to be listening to this. So we're out of here.